Have you seen this chick? She's getting a bit triggered about guys who like their cars more than their girls.
So I got to tell you about this guy that my friend's been stalking. He is a car guy. Yeah.
Hang on. What do you mean by a car guy?
He's a car guy. Look at my spoiler. Look at this body kit. Look at the NOS. I've got double exhaust. I've got exhaust pipes as big as my head.
Yeah, right. What's the problem with that? He's got a passion for cars.
Oh, yeah.
This is ridiculous. You girls have a passion for makeup and fake tan and God knows what else. If a guy likes his car and likes showing off his car, how does that make him a dud that you now won't date?
If his whole Instagram is just him and his car.
Yeah, it's his passion.
You're a weirdo.
What do you want
Sorry.
Have you seen this? Parking inspectors in Sydney have been granted access to give, well, effectively, you lose demerit points for parking violations.
Their job is to walk Sydney streets and issue fines to drivers breaking the laws. Now, 7 News can reveal parking inspectors have extra powers, handing out demerit points.
So I guess if they're not making enough money on the road through speed cameras, you've got to make it some... These councils, these councils are...
I am the law!
Yeah, but they are for, like, proper parking, violations, i.e. like parking in a disabled spot. That sort of thing. I don't think you're not going to lose a demerit point by overstaying your, meter by 3 minutes. Watch this space though, you never know.
Court's adjourned.
Look at this headline. Clickbait headline, you should say. Good point.
And this is 000 Heroes.
Hoon hotspot raising hell for locals. Raising hell. So what do you think's happening down there? There's just beatings and stabbings on the street? Yeah. Now this Hoon hotspot, I've actually been there. Well, you've been there. I've been there a few times. Yeah. I think you've been a few more times. It's a pizza shop in the Docklands in Melbourne. It's a hangout like you'd have in most capital cities that, it's just in a good spot. It's easy to get to from the freeways and that. A lot of guys go there, park their cars, have a chat. I wouldn't say I've seen any kind of like drunkenness or any problems this has gone 000.
Commissioner Gordon.
And what do you know? A grumpy old man is upset with what's going on here. Local resident old mate Max has got a bit annoyed. There's people illegally parking down there on the grass. I know where he's talking about because there's not enough parking. There's hardly any parking there. But yeah, people are illegally parking and they're revving engines. So he's been ringing 000.
He's struck again.
This is real. He's been ringing. He was told to ring 000 apparently. This ringing 000.
Because
that's what you ring the emergency line about. Because it says here that people are lifting up their bonnets.
Thank goodness he's there when a crisis befalls us.
And there was too many exhaust fumes, doesn't he? He's got his windows open. Doesn't he like the smell of E85 at night? If you're worried about, things stinking, I suggest you don't live, in the city. Because it stinks. I'm sure this has happened to some of you guys out there. You've kind of got a nice car spot. It gets popular. No one really mucks around or, does anything untoward. And then you get one person offended, they complain, the whole thing gets shut down, see you later. Well, let's have a look at some of his complaints. They're there showing their cars off, their bonnets up and with the engines running. But the fumes get so bad that you have to shut all your windows. But what is that? A bit rich on a bit of a cammed LS? And that's why I started getting annoyed. It's now become a meeting point for anyone who has to show off their car, any sort of car you want to name, but they're all done up to the hilt. So these are responsible car enthusiasts, and he's not happy about it. Mr. Dow is unimpressed by the lack of action issued by local authorities. Well, I wouldn't expect the council to do anything, because what type of action does he want to see down there?
You have 20 seconds to comply.
The police haven't recommended him to call 000. No, why would they? Why would you be calling 000 about there's some guys hanging out at a car park? It's by the Street Compliance and Services. This just sounds like a fancy... the council. It's a mall cop, that's what it sounds like. So they've told Mr. Dow to call 000 in the event of a gathering occurring.
There's only one thing to do.
Seriously. Now Mr. Dow has been calling 000 for the last 6 weeks. That's kind of an emergency helpline, not for ringing up saying there's some guys down there with noisy engines. Bonnets up. Bonnets up, that's right. Bonnets up, having pizza and talking. Greater response is needed for this problem. it's gotten around that this place we can just meet up and nobody's going to do anything about it. Because God forbid you could do something.
God forbid these guys have a social life.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's about.
I just can't believe it's been allowed to go on for so long. People meeting. I can't stop them coming. All I want to happen is when they come, they be respectful and don't park illegally. And don't wake me up at midnight when they decide to do burnouts. People who want to live in the inner suburbs, inner CBD, whatever, and complain about noise and in a high-rise, like, seriously, get a life, champ.
Oh, a car guy.
Police are closing in on a woman who threw a brick at a moving car on the Monash Freeway.
How's this lady? They got into a bit of a road rage incident, and what would you expect? You know, you're getting into a bit of an altercation.
You might have a hand out the window, a bit of yelling.
You might go, gee, I'm going to get so annoyed, I'm going to throw something at this car, so I'll just reach into the glove box and
What do you normally got in there? Pen?
Yeah.
Paper?
Maybe some paper, maybe a registration. No, I'll just grab a brick from the centre console and piff it at this blue dude's car.
Young women were travelling along the Monash Freeway at Narre Warren when a stolen car has pulled up beside them. As you can see, the driver of that gold-coloured Toyota vehicle has pelted a water bottle at that vehicle before her quite angry passenger has picked up a brick from inside the car, also hurling it out the window to the other vehicle and causing some damage.
I don't know how big your glove compartment is to fit a brick in it,
but this lady kind of reminds me of someone. Have you seen HSV have released a new sticker pack for their sticker pack Colorado, affectionately known as the Sports Cat? So they've got more stickers to add on to the stickers that they've already put on the Colorado. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
No. So no LS3 in this Sports Cat yet?
So they have a new Sports Cat range called the Sports Cat Look Pack.
Look at me pack.
Yeah. So it just adds a few more stickers on top of the Sports Cat.
This has got HSV premium pricing, or?
I don't know, I've heard they've been piling up 15 deep at dealers, but whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Can't get rid of them.
I actually went for a ride in one.
The Sports Cat?
Yeah, a little while ago. And they do look better than a standard Colorado, I'll give them that, but when you're driving it, it's just exactly the same. And one thing I noticed, the same Holden key they've sourced from Alibaba, it's identical. It doesn't even have a HSV logo on the key.
Oh, that's a bit.
It's the same key as a standard Colorado, and you're paying, what, 70 grand for this? Or more.
For a few HSV badges.
Yeah, there's a couple of HSV emblems. I think there's one on the steering wheel. But just little things like that. I don't know, it's one truck I just don't get. At least the Raptor, I know it doesn't have the Ranger Raptor, I know it doesn't have the so-called hot engine, but
it doesn't have the hot engine, but everything else around it's really good.
Look cool.
It looks cool. It's got, obviously a lot of work's been done on the suspension and the body. They do look good on the road.
Now the Sports Cat has upgraded suspension. It's got big disc brakes and that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
So probably my favourite video of the past week that I've watched was one that Haltech released about just the debate about which is a better six-cylinder and why. Obviously, 2JZ, RB, and the Barra.
They went through a lot of points just about, obviously, what its good, I guess, pros and cons are, including, obviously, just strength, engineering, even down to, like, how it sounds. Obviously, a big one is cost. There's a no-brainer at which one out of those three costs is the bang for buck engine, but
I thought Adrian made a few good points about the noise. He's bang on about the RB sounding the best.
I mean, RBs and 2Js, they're great seeing motors. It's a bit of a toss of the coin with people which one they prefer. Both of us, we do prefer the RB. And he's bang on when he says the 9,000 RPM.
Except he said that with the exception of a single cam. Now, Adrian, I've got to disagree with you.
Nothing wrong with a dirty 30. So in that debate, the Barra got a good rap, and look, you can't deny
as it should.
As it should, you can't deny it's a bloody strong engine stock. It can take a lot of abuse. They don't tend to rev too hard. They don't need to. They've got a power band that comes in a lot earlier, but that can also cause other problems.
they're great for the first 8 feet until they blow the tyres off it, and they're blowing the tyres off it at the other end of the racetrack.
The whole track.
Yeah, so it's great. That basically says that the big horsepower that they make is great for the dyno, and that's about it, which means in a cruel twist of fate, as time has gone on, a Ford Falcon is the auto salon dyno queen.
But look, they're real cheap. I mean, they didn't actually mention, I don't think they mentioned the price of the 2J in that clip, but 2Js are incredibly expensive here. Like for an actual turbo engine, it's big dollars. I mean, you could have Barras stacked to the roof for the price one 2J would cost. That's what
Yeah, but they've only just come out of production. A 2J and an RB, they're not exactly new engines.
Oh, no, 100%. But when people turn around and go, I just throw a 2J in it, do they understand what a 2J even costs to buy, let alone do up? I mean, they're strong too, but realistically, out of the 3 though, the RB, you'd actually say... Actually, I won't say it's the weakest. Actually, they're all pretty strong engines, and they all have good and bad points. And it comes down to how you've developed them and who's tuning it.
But one good point I thought was made in that video was the fact that most 2Js you see are not in the car they come out in.
They came out in. I mean, they're
Aristo
in a Supra. They're in something else.
They're always engine conversions.
Starting to happen with Barras a bit, but Barras are a huge engine.
Yeah, but that's only because they're so cheap. People are putting them in everything.
So, speaking of Haltech, you were in one of their videos a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was. I did a bit of work with Tunnel Vision, because I do some of their media work.
But hang on, according to the internet, you hate Barras. You despise them.
Yeah, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true. But truth be told, I just love going fishing.
Why is fullBOOST so salty about Barras?
Got a nibble.
They probably get shot by them daily.
Yeah, it's true actually. I
got shot by 3 on the way here.
Probably 10 last week. Week before that, probably even more. We're just getting hammered out there.
Here we go. The vegan, cyclist, feminist Barra supporters are coming to attack.
That guy's obviously not a Barra supporter.
You ever read the weight difference between a Barra and an LS? Oh my god, you really must be simple if you think a 4 litre 6 will weigh more than a 6.2 litre V8. It's a bigger motor, Tripper. Makes no sense. They must weigh 2 tonnes. Now, I knew for a fact that an LS, it's an alloy block, the Ford engine, the 6-cylinder, is an iron block, so bit of quick research, which I already knew, the Barra engine weighs, 20 kilos more.
Probably even 30, even 40 potentially. It depends on the type of the LS, but effectively, just the Barra engine is 4 litres compared to, say, a 6 litre 6.2.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually make it lighter.
What's that? 170 grand on a stock Holden to beat a stock Barra turbo. I've seen Barras with a couple of grand spent on them destroy LS motors which have had 10 grand spent on them. Come on, seriously, pushrod motors are so outdated. But not everyone is defending the almighty God Barra engine. This stock bottom end Barra has run into the 8s. Obviously it's a bit easier when you don't have a 2-ton car. Smartly, the little Ford Escort doesn't weigh as much as a Falcon, so obviously...
It's amazing what power to weight does.
I know. So credit to Dean, the car runs fantastic. He's run a bag of 8-second passes that still has a stock bottom end. I think I mentioned in the video that he got the motor off eBay.
Yeah, it was basically a second-hand engine.
Because not everyone who watches our videos is from Australia, so people are always asking, where do you get a Barra motor? Where do you get a Barra motor? And I'll say to them, just look on eBay.
Yeah, you'll find one.
So that's why I wrote it there, but he did get it on eBay, and here's a photo of it.
But as usual, it's the internet, and everyone...
Tall poppy syndrome.
It's always so much negativity. It's the in thing at the moment to play down what's done to your car. Stock motor, unopened motor, words getting thrown around a lot. eBay turbo is a real hot favourite at the moment. eBay cooler, standard rods, cardboard head gasket, yada yada. We weren't... In the video, if you have a look, it was just mentioned it was a stock engine, so people would know. Okay,
no, it didn't say stock engine.
It just said eBay.
Just read people don't even read the specs before they write it. It just basically says Ford Barra. It's got head studs, valve springs, and it was sourced from eBay.
But effectively, you wrote, this is what's done to the car. Yeah. This is what it has. Yet people have to carry on about like
he was lying about it.
Or he's bragging that it's stock.
Like, here's another one.
Now they won't actually believe him that it's the engine, basically.
Who would waste their time with a stock motor in a race car?
Well, he's wasting time running 8s.
The same people talk about and say how good the Barra is, which it's a good motor. It's got a lot of potential. If you want to make, say, 500-600 horsepower, for the most part, a lot of Barras will put up with that all day long. So why would you go and spend 25 grand on a race engine?
And even if you got 2 years out of a Barra and you were killing it, making 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower, yes, eventually it might start getting tired and something might go wrong, but it's lasted you 2 years.
I know, just go get another one. Or if you want to push the ante further,
then build it. But
you have to build it.
If you're not you might put that engine in and look, you might push it too hard and it might last a month and you do hurt it, so be it. But
yeah, but that aside, you could put that engine in knowing I could run this car at 8/8 on the quarter all day long and it'll put up with it. What's wrong with that?
You obviously didn't go to the internet first and get the advice.
Here's my favourite comment. Always trying to talk down their motors. There. 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 It's like, who gives a if it's the Pope's second-hand motor? So it's that much better and cooler because it's off eBay? End of the day, who knows what's really done? I'm trying to read this, I can't even read the English. Prob a full house jobby.
So basically, it's just one massive conspiracy theory. That now this guy's gone to town on this engine, and he's lying and saying it's stock.
But this is a good point. I don't know why all these blokes are so worried that it's a stock bottom end. I don't know either. I thought that was supposed to be a good thing. If it out, either buy another one or build one. Who cares? Bang on.
Look at my spoiler. Oh, look at this body kit.
So have you seen the federal government has passed a new automotive legislation that basically allows importing of older cars a bit easier. But these won't they won't start until late 2019.
Yeah, they sort of, in short, they kind of getting rid of the compliance plate and changing it with some sort of approved list of cars. And to be honest, I don't know enough about it to really talk about it.
Done your research here, I see.
Yeah, but as far as I'm aware, I mean, they're trying. It's not going to be like New Zealand where you can kind of bring in anything, but it will allow. If you like older cars, especially, it will allow you to bring some older cars into the country a bit easier than.
Well, there were some models you couldn't bring in due to the year.
Yeah.
That was sold, and if the car was effectively sold here, it's a bit more relaxed around that stuff. So hopefully I mean, realistically, most of the older Japanese
stuff is already in the country.
It's already in the country or exported out of Japan, but you never know. It might be easier bringing in a car that you've always wanted and you just kind of can't get it in the country.
I think if you've got like a premium R34 Nissan GTR, the price of them is still going to stay high, but I think some of the, say, cheaper models or something that's not in as good condition, possibly I think the price of them might actually drop.
Which is a good thing if you're after one. These import laws also apply to newer cars. I think it's something to do with it's easier to get, or it's more possible now to bring in newer cars that were never sold on the roads here for some other reason. So it might just be from a obscure, something like, I don't know, like everyone's got money to buy a new Bugatti, but, you know, or something odd you can bring
Bugatti?
What Bugatti?
What the hell's a Bugatti?
Bugatti? Is that how you say
it? So what car would you import?
Ooh. Something with an LS?
Well, I know one car I would import and fit an LS into, but I think you could import it now anyway. But it's something that I've always wanted to import. There's only one car. I love those cars.
Look, in all seriousness, I've always, and you can bring them in. It hasn't been like impossible, but I've always loved the old Lancia Integrales.
Yeah.
Like it's actually an odd shaped car. It's a bit short. It looks like it's a bit too short, but it should be. But it's just the real boxy 80s look, and there's something about it. It just looks such a classic shape. And I reckon I've only seen a handful ever on the road here. Interesting. I saw one on the road in Italy. But just parked on the side of the road, like this mint dark green one. I thought, just sitting on the side of the road there.
Yeah. You'd want to get a red one.
100%,
yeah. Did you see this flying taxi concept at the Amsterdam drone show?
Flying taxis?
Yeah. It looks pretty cool, but it kind of reminds me of something a bit more sinister.
Now, just like the other week in the news, I think it was a coroner's inquest or something came out about. It was a tragic accident where a young bloke was using he'd hired a delivery truck to move house.
Young life obliterated in a split second. A fiery blast tearing apart a truck rented by 24-year-old Anthony Carnevale.
So this happened, I think, over a year ago, but they've only just released video footage of the accident he had on the road. So he had a delivery truck with LPG bottles, so this is liquid propane, gas bottles, and he said he also had uncapped batteries, so obviously a pretty bad combination to have together. And the gas bottles have leaked. Effectively, it's gone off like a bomb.
But that'd be something you wouldn't even think about. Everyone does that. When I first saw that video...
But anyway, I was saying, I saw this video. I actually thought it was fake. I thought it was CGI. It looked like... I looked like Back to the Future Bolt of the Lightning came across and hit the truck and it kind of just disappeared. It disappeared on the screen. I thought, that's not real. And I watched it again and realised this is actually real CCTV of this poor bloke. And he lost his life.
But there's a fair bit of damage too.
Oh, it's like a big bomb went off in the street. A lot of damage to other cars and buildings and that, but it's unbelievable
just a couple of bottles.
It literally looks like the truck just vanishes out of the shot. It just disintegrates. But it's just amazing footage if you haven't seen it.
And what better way to show off the old gender reveal than to, they put the coloured ties on. It's nothing new.
Explain to overseas viewers what a gender reveal is, though.
Well, it's obviously where you're going to show what gender your unborn child is, either pink for girls or blue for boys.
What if it's gender neutral? We won't go into that.
Maybe they'll use white smoke for that. But anyway, so this was, I think it was pink, yeah?
Yeah, anyway, they put a different colour tyre in the car and they do a burnout and then their friends and family, whoever's there, it's meant to be like, here's the surprise and we're telling you what it is.
Yeah.
But this gender reveal didn't quite go to plan.
It's a burnout. Onlookers scream with excitement as huge plumes of pink smoke fill the air, but their joy at this gender reveal quickly becomes panic as the pink smoke turns to black and flames appear.
Max Doughy's and the gravel and shit near Lidcombe Station. To keep me busy, got the soda bulbs.
Now, speaking of genders, you might have seen, was it last year in Melbourne or this year, about the traffic symbols in the city? They changed them from a man to a woman,
just some
for equality and all. And to be honest, until this thing came up, I never even thought about them as being...
I don't think anyone did. It was just a picture of a person.
It's a stick figure.
Stick figure. You didn't go, it's a man walking across the road as it is not a female.
Yeah, like, these are... What is it? Finding solutions for problems that don't exist? It's just ridiculous.
No, I don't think... Before it came out, I don't think anyone had ever looked at that and thought, no, that's a male figure on the pedestrian crossing.
But, someone was offended by it, so they've had to change it.
Some angry feminist.
So Canberra, it's no surprise that it's in Canberra. They've taken it one step further, and now they've got same-sex couples on traffic symbols. I think $5,500 they're spending. Like, isn't there better things they could spend money on?
But then
is it really needed?
They were kind of being smartasses. They were saying there's always signs that will say like children crossing the road, beware, and it usually has the symbol of a mother holding her daughters, and of course, why is it only a mother? Does the father's not?
Well, the term Mother Nature, that's pretty offensive.
Anyway, we're going a bit off topic here.
You're setting up a spike strip on 302. No f***ing way. Look at this.
Oh my god!
Oh no! Oh, no!
What the f***?
What the f***?
People have always talked about top fuel dragsters. Why can't they be turbocharged? And it's always been, well, turbos just can't make.
There wasn't the technology to support that power.
Yeah, well, it's slowly catching up, isn't it? Have you seen this new turbo by Precision? 5,500 horsepower at 140 pounds of boost, 141mm compressor wheel.
So it's targeted at tractor pulling.
Yeah, tractor pulling. Because obviously those guys compound, they make shitloads of boost. But that's a good example of, we're not too far off. Imagine someone creating like some sort of nitro.
Well, use two of those and you never know, they might end up north of up near 10,000 horsepower turbocharged. So old mate from the comments, he's not too happy with Broomy's explanation in this rebuild video.
There's also scuff marks here where the rotor has impacted the housing, so this rotor wouldn't be used again.
Where it has impacted equals where it has hit the sides. For God's sakes, talk normal.
Do you understand the word
What's wrong with impacted? Well, look at this. The meaning of impacted is strongly or directly affected by something, especially in a negative way. Now, look, it's probably not the first choice of words you use, but it's not that bad, is it? But maybe we better take this up with Broomy. If we're going to have a... we're going to have to send this right up the chain. Up the chain? How far up?
We are at DEFCON 1. DEFCON 1?
Poor old Broomy, he's copping it from all angles. I mean, look at this comment. Shittest haircut ever.
Mattingly, get rid of those sideburns.
What sideburns?
You heard me, hippie.
On another note, as the year's coming to an end, we just wanted to thank everyone for their ongoing support on Full Boost. Me personally, I haven't had anywhere near enough time to work on Full Boost this year. I've had so much other stuff going on. Work, personal, the rest of it. Crying babies. Yeah, but hopefully in the next 12 months, we've got a few project cars in the build, a few other things going on. So hopefully some of that kicks off. And hopefully we'll see you get your... But in the meantime, you can always support us by buying stuff like stickers, T-shirts, that sort of stuff. Maybe you'll get your hands dirty soon. Yeah, I doubt that. But if there's something you'd like us to cover or see, or, write in the comments and let us know. We're open to anything. Some people think we just like drag racing. Jordy and I actually prefer circuit racing as a whole, but it never comes across that exciting on video, and it's quite hard to film. So that's a lot of the time. That's why we go to the drags. And I do like watching drag racing, especially street cars. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing better than a RB on the Transbrake or something. You're about to get down the track on small tyres. That's the type of stuff I like. But yeah, let us know what you want to see on the channel 2019.